I've got my suit on. I've got my cup of tea. Let's talk the Kingsman. Hey everyone, this is David Stark from Watcher Pass, and I'm here to talk to you about The Kingsman, which is coming to theaters on December 22nd, 2021. It is the prequel to the surprisingly good Kingsman movies. The first one was The Kingsman Secret Service, and then there was Kingsman The Golden Circle, I believe. The Kingsman Secret Service was fantastic. I really liked it. I loved the style. I loved the fight scenes. Kingsman Golden Circle was not as good, but it's still enjoyable. The Kingsman, hot take, I don't really think you should see it. It didn't really capture the magic that the first one had. And, I really loved the choreography. The fight choreography was great, but the story was overly long and it couldn't really manage that balance between humor and drama. I couldn't really tell what kind of movie it wanted to be. So it just fell kind of somewhere in between. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the story, some things I liked about it, some things I didn't love about it. I'm going to try not to have that many spoilers. There will be some spoilers in this, but there won't be that many. But if you don't want to know what happens, if you just want to know, you want to go in blind, turn this off now. But if you want to know a little more about the movie, you want to kind of hear my thoughts before you go see it, then let's keep going. So in The Kingsman, you have the Duke of Oxford, played by Ralph Fiennes, who has a tragic event occur early on in his life. And so after that, he kind of uses that and some of his past experiences to work against war. He kind of becomes a pacifist because of this event and is now kind of working behind the scenes to try to prevent things from happening. So he's kind of working like an intelligence agency, except he's doing it all independently. There's no specific mandate that he has. He doesn't have anything other than his own network, his own people, and his just desire to do good. And he is kind of at odds with his son, Conrad, played by Harris Dickinson, who wants to be more hands-on. He wants to kind of sow his oats. He wants to go to the front and fight because that's kind of what he expects. He's a young, 17, I think 18-year-old boy that wants to go do it, but he can't because at first he's not old enough, and then because his father is kind of working against him. His father has influence with those in power, and so his father is trying to prevent him from going to the fight because he's worried about him. But eventually, his son goes to the front, and his father starts to kind of take a more active role in the whole preventing war aspect, and that is essentially where the Kingsman Agency begins. Things I liked about this movie. The first is the choreography. I thought the choreography was really good. There are not a ton of fights, but the fights that they have, they are really elaborate. They're really well done. The first movie was kind of known for the choreography. I was really impressed by it, and this is no exception. You get similar elaborate fights. You get very kind of frenzied fight, hand-to-hand combat, and this one is set a little bit earlier, so it makes more sense that you would have more hand-to-hand combat, although you still have a few guns here and there. But overall, you get a lot of really good swordplay, really good martial arts type fighting with knives, things like that. And it is exciting. I really loved the choreography. That is probably the thing I loved the most about this movie. The second thing I loved are the good guys. So the main good characters are the Duke of Oxford, played by Ralph Fiennes, Polly, played by Gemma Arterton, and Shola, played by Djimon Hounsou. And they were all very fun. They all had very different personalities. They kind of got along really well, and I liked seeing them. I liked their different proficiencies. Some of them were good at something, some of them were good at others, and overall it kind of made a nice core to the team. And at some points, Harris Dickinson, who plays Conrad, the son, is involved in this, and he was a fun character as well, although he wasn't as involved as the three main characters. The three main ones are essentially the core of the agency, and I really liked seeing them. The last thing I really loved is Ralph Fiennes. I mean, I like Ralph Fiennes. He's a great actor. He does a pretty good job in this. I think he's hurt by some aspects of the story and some of the writing, but overall, he does a good job. He has to kind of play a few different roles. He's got kind of a dramatic side. There's a lot more drama than I was expecting in this type of a movie. And then he has some humorous aspects. And then he also goes into a deep spiral at some point in the movie as well. And he all does it really well. He's a compelling actor, and he's probably the best thing about this movie. The things I did not love. The first is the tone. I mean, the film, and I think Kingsman has tried to kind of have that balance, be a little bit more of like an irreverent James Bond, kind of be more on the comedic side of things. And this movie had aspects of that, but it also, I think, tried to up the drama. It tried to kind of base the Kingsman Agency in some world politics, some geopolitical issues, and some horrific events that happened in actual history. The actual build up to World War I and World War I are kind of the basis of this movie. And so the film tries to tie that in with some, heavy drama, some talk about the war and sacrifice and things like that, which is not a bad thing. It's difficult when those are juxtaposed with comedic scenes and scenes that are a little more irreverent and characters that take a very different tone. And so it just feels like the movie never really knows what it wants to do. Like they have to infiltrate this party and try to assassinate this person. And then you'll have a scene with, I don't know, like a simulated sex scene, and then you'll have a fight where one of them is dancing, and it just didn't really match up well. I really wish the movie would have decided. I think it should have kind of leaned more into the comedic side of things. That's what made the first Kingsman so good. But this one felt like it was the tone was a little all over the place. The second thing I did not love is the start. I mean, the start of the film tries to establish this emotional connection, but it does it before you really know who any of these characters are. And so it's a little heavy at the start, and then you have a big emotional scene, but I didn't really know anything about these characters, and so it didn't really have the impact that I think it was supposed to. And also because it's a prequel, you don't know who any of these characters are because we've never met them before. So trying to establish this emotion right at the start didn't do it for me. I think maybe they should have gone a different way or had the emotional scene happen a little bit later. The third thing I did not love is the length. I mean, this movie is long and it felt long. The building kind of the base of the characters and establishing what is going to happen, it took about 40 minutes. I looked at my watch when this happened just to make sure. It was a long time. And then the movie keeps going. And the movie has kind of the establishment arc and then a main mission arc. And then it has a whole nother part after that, which I was a little surprised at because I thought the movie was kind of barreling towards the end, and then it had a whole new section after. So overall, the movie is it's over 2 hours. I think it's about 2 hours and 10 minutes, and it felt like it. The fourth thing I did not love is the main villain. I mean, he had these scenes where he was supposed to be kind of sinister, but again, with the issues with the tone, it just felt random. It felt like he was a little deranged, which I guess he was supposed to be, but it didn't really feel like he had a master plan. It felt like he was a little unhinged, and he's supposed to be this kind of world dominating supervillain who kind of has his fingers in all the political pies. And it didn't feel like that. It felt like he was a little impulsive, and it felt like he was just doing things randomly. He would kill things that I think were supposed to establish his ruthlessness, but it didn't really feel like there was any emotion behind it. He would do things that felt kind of out of character to what we were supposed to know about him. So the last thing I didn't love is the ending, and that's partly because there was this big reveal that just, again, felt very random. It was almost like a Scooby-Doo type reveal. Like I was surprised by it, but I didn't really, I think at that point I kind of checked out. So it didn't really have the kind of emotional impact that I think it was supposed to. Overall, I didn't love the Kingsman. I mean, it has moments that are good, but overall it just felt too long, too disjointed, and the story just didn't have the kind of meaningful weight that I think it was supposed to. Now, there is a stinger right after the credits, so make sure to stick around. It's not a great scene, but if you've been through the movie, it's pretty close to the start of the credits, so make sure to stick around for that so you can get that last scene. There's nothing at the very end, so you can leave after that. And that's my review of The Kingsman, coming to theaters on December 22nd, 2021. If you liked this review, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot. Make sure all my new content goes straight to you. And please check out my other content. I've got other movie reviews, interviews, unboxing videos, and weekly movie recommendations. Thank you.